Everyone knows that movie sets can be difficult places to work. With millions of dollars on the line, huge egos all vying to get their voice heard, and the long, grueling hours, it is unsurprising that tensions flare up here and there. Of course, there are professional ways to deal with disagreements, though I don't think any of the following actors quite got that memo. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 9 times actors got into fistfights on set. Number 9. Any Given Sunday, LL Cool J vs Jamie Foxx. LL Cool J and Jamie Foxx got a little intense on the set of Any Given Sunday, where they played rivals on an American football team. LL went full method to play his part, so when Foxx's character did something to annoy him in the film, he took it personally. So, when the two of them were filming a big argument scene, LL decided to escalate the tension by actually hitting Foxx on camera, which didn't go down too well with his co-star. Foxx subsequently hit him back, and they ended up rolling around together, punching and kicking each other before being separated. The story hit the news, and word about their feud quickly spread. The two men took potshots at each other in the press for years afterwards, with LL mocking Foxx on an album and Foxx making fun of their fight during a stand-up routine, until they finally made peace about it in 2006, deciding to put it behind them. Number 8. The Outsiders, Tom Cruise vs Rob Lowe. Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe were just up-and-coming actors when they starred together in The Outsiders, a film that would launch both of them and the rest of the Brat Pack into stardom. Lowe remembered Cruise as being so focused on what he was doing though that he was almost robotic in his behaviour, though he was apparently still friendly enough to chat with. However, when they were rehearsing a fight scene, Lowe accidentally hit Cruise for real, which caused the laser-focused actor to lose control and attack Lowe for real. Apparently they just started absolutely wailing on one another, though Cruise was apparently the better fighter, as Lowe claims that he only landed one good punch on his co-star before the fight was broken up. They quickly made up after the tussle, though they didn't work on a movie together again. In an interview via Digital Spy, the actor said, quote, "We all beat the living shit out of one another. We really did. I got one clean shot on Tom, and Tom is such a competitive lunatic, which is what I love about him, but the next thing you know, he's ready to kill me," end quote. Number 7. Executive Decision, Steven Seagal vs John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo didn't get along with a few people on Executive Decision, with the first being good old Steven Seagal himself. In fact, on the first day they worked together, Seagal, who was playing the leader of a military unit, apparently walked up to his co-stars proclaiming that he was the leader and they must obey everything he said. Leguizamo, perhaps understandably, burst out laughing at this request, so Seagal slammed him with his elbow against the wall, knocking the breath straight out of him. The actor apparently didn't get on any better with Kurt Russell either, who absolutely hated Leguizamo improvising throughout their scenes and told him to be a man and stick to the script, though that didn't really happen and they eventually got into a bit of a scuffle. Sadly, John Leguizamo riling up other Hollywood big names didn't end on this film either, and he's gotten himself into scraps with Patrick Swayze and Sean Penn on other sets. Number 6. Maidstone, Rip Torn vs Norman Mailer. Maidstone is a fairly poor art movie from the 70s that's best remembered for one scene, where the two lead actors get into a vicious bloody fight that looks like they're really trying to kill each other. And that's because they really did get into a vicious bloody fight where they were actually trying to kill each other. And thankfully, I guess, the camera was rolling while it happened. The scene starts when actor Rip Torn, who is well known for being a bit eccentric in real life, strikes star and director Norman Mailer on the head with a hammer. He was apparently not trying to hurt the director, but he wanted to kill his character, and so Mailer then defended himself against the hammer blows, and the two of them got straight into it, with Torn finally trying to strangle the director before they were separated. It's an absolutely disturbing scene that's made worse by the fact that Mailer's wife and children actually see it happening, and they scream for Rip Torn to stop doing what he's doing throughout. Mailer though just decided to keep the fight in the film because it made for such powerful footage. Number 5. Blue Collar, Richard Pryor vs Harvey Keitel. Blue Collar sounds like it was just a horrible movie to work on. The 3 lead actors, Richard Pryor, Yaphet Kotto, and Harvey Keitel, all despised each other to the point that they could barely get through takes together, and all 3 of them also hated the director, Paul Schrader. Hell, at one point Pryor pulled a gun on Schrader on set, refusing to do more than 3 takes of a scene. Schrader said the incident later gave him a proper mental breakdown and he nearly quit the film business altogether. With all of that happiness then, it's no wonder that things got physical on set a couple of times, including an incident where Pryor smashed a chair over Kotto because he felt the actor was trying to outstage him in a scene. Pryor and Keitel also got into a nasty scuffle after weeks of tension too, with the two men having to be ripped off of each other. All this behind the scenes drama no doubt helped the film feel as raw and oppressive as the movie itself turned out to be. Number 4, Lawless, Shia LaBeouf vs. Tom Hardy. A minor scuffle happened on the set of Prohibition gangster movie Lawless, which had Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy playing moonshine-producing brothers. Both are known method actors, and as their characters had a strained relationship, then so did they. LaBeouf also felt that he was being sidelined by his more experienced co-stars, which made him apparently ratty on set. Tensions between the two actors grew further until one day, for no clear reason, LaBeouf apparently punched Hardy on the back of the head and knocked him out cold. He woke up with the concerned crew looking down on him, though he wasn't, thankfully, seriously hurt. They both later said in interviews that the incident wasn't all that serious, and according to LaBeouf, apparently he didn't knock him out at all, they were just wrestling on a set of stairs that Hardy ended up falling down. Yeah, I don't know, mate, that sounds a bit dodgy to me. Number 3, Fury, Brad Pitt vs. Shia LaBeouf. David Ayer is a director who demands a certain level of realism in his movies. If the actors are portraying cops or soldiers, then he'll train them physically to the level where they look natural holding firearms, for instance. He went to further extremes on Fury though, where he made the set intentionally miserable to get the cast into the mindset of World War II soldiers. He made sure actor Logan Lerman, who played the new recruit, was made to feel as miserable as humanly possible, in fact, so he'd apparently look appropriately downtrodden on set. He also encouraged the cast to fight each other as a way of relieving tension and building brotherly trust. Consequently, Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf got into regular fistfights over very little, though they both insist it was to the benefit of the movie. Ayer also made the entire cast eat, sleep, and go to the toilet inside of their cramped tank, just like the real soldiers would have had to do. With those kinds of conditions then, I guess fistfights were almost inevitable. Number 2, Three Kings, George Clooney vs. David O. Russell. Probably one of the best known on-set dust-ups happened between George Clooney and David O. Russell on the set of Three Kings, where Russell apparently threw a lot of tantrums when things weren't going right, and he'd often take out this frustration on crew members. Quite simply, David O. Russell has a history of being a right arsehole, and here he would yell at actors for small mistakes constantly, to the point of completely humiliating them in front of the entire set. After he apparently made a script supervisor cry though, Clooney decided that he wasn't going to stomach it anymore, so he wrote Russell a letter outlining why he couldn't behave like that around his crew. This admittedly classy move seemed to work initially, and things went smoothly for a while, until a big scene caused a stressed out Russell to go back to his old ways. When an extra was too meek to throw Clooney to the ground, Russell allegedly grabbed him, threw him down, and started kicking him. Clooney pulled him apart and told him he couldn't treat people like that, which led to a furious Russell to start attacking him. They fought briefly before being pulled apart, an incident that Clooney called the worst experience of my life, and the two men haven't worked together since. Number 1, Charlie's Angels, Lucy Liu vs. Bill Murray. People love Bill Murray so much that they tend to overlook the many stories about his bad behavior on movies. In fact, his temper tantrums on set are so infamous that Dan Aykroyd once called his frequent mood swings the Murricane. And he was clearly having one of these bad days on Charlie's Angels when he stopped the rehearsal for a scene with the 3 lead actresses. Apparently, after this, he then said to Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore, quote, "I get why you're here and you've got talent," before then turning to Lucy Liu and asking, quote, "But what in the hell are you doing here? You can't act," end quote. Lucy Liu became, quite rightly, furious and lashed out at Murray, throwing angry punches while he tried to back away. Apparently, the two of them were broken apart and spent the next 20 minutes screaming at each other from across the room. This wasn't the only clash that Murray had on the film, though. Director McGee claims that Murray headbutted him during a row over a scene, though Murray denies that it ever happened. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you know about these on-set fights, and are there any ones that I missed off here? While you're down there as well, could you please give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.